I just realized while I was down there, I could have spent a little bit of time repairing my Silk Touch pickaxe. I don't know why I didn't think about that. Oh well. What's up, Agents? Zero here. Welcome back to another episode of the Survival Series. This is episode 68, and if you remember, last time we explored a nether fortress and found a whole bunch of stuff, including nether warts, which is actually the first time I've actually found nether warts on this series. This episode, I'm actually starting things off on my redstone testing roll because I want to show you guys what my plans are for this episode. So here's basically what I have in mind. Because I found nether warts, I actually want to make myself a nether wart farm. I was just out here just a little bit to see if I could come up with a design for a basic redstone nether wart farm. I don't want this to be like an industrial farm that can produce tons upon tons of the stuff. I just want something that's at least going to somewhat sustain. And this is the basic idea that I have so far. If I go ahead and flick this lever, it's going to get registered by this observer, which is going to dispense water. The water is obviously going to end up breaking all the nether warts. Had there actually been any, I decided that because this is just a testing roll, it didn't need to do any planting, and it's just going to push the nether warts until they reach this set of hoppers right here, which is obviously going to lead into the chest. If I go ahead and flick the lever back up, it picks everything back up. It's actually that simple, and the redstone behind it is actually not all that complicated, all things considered. Now, you guys may have noticed that I have lava beside all of the soul sand. Now, at least hear me out. If this is actually not what happens, then apparently I've been lied to in one way or another. But apparently, from what I've been reading, if soul sand that has nether wart planted on it is directly next to lava source blocks, which these are all lava source blocks, by the way. I went ahead and filled every single one of these slots with a lava bucket to make sure none of it is flowing. But according to what I read, if the soul sand is directly next to a lava source block, then that means the nether wart will actually grow faster. And I also read that it doesn't exactly matter which dimension the nether wart is actually growing in, but for obvious reasons I'm going to be building this thing in the overworld, because I figured then that way I'd have a little bit easier access to it, because I'm going to be obviously in the overworld a lot more often than I'm going to be in the nether. Because one thing I did read is that supposedly it does grow slightly faster in the nether, but I don't honestly 100% believe it. I know some of you down in the comments will probably correct me on this fact, but for me personally, I don't think it really matters which dimension that the nether warts are planted in, so long as they have certain conditions. Because the thing is, I heard that it has to be either next to fire, which I don't remember whether or not it says that, just be specifically netherrack. It has to be under glowstone, or it has to be next to lava. And I decided I wanted to go, actually, you know what, all things considered, I could probably go for glowstone instead of lava, for one reason and one reason alone, is that I do believe that it's going to take it's not that I believe it, actually, to be completely honest. I know it's going to take a lot longer to get all this lava, because I've only got like 2 lava buckets back at home, which I know I could probably make a lot of lava buckets, but then I only have so much room in my inventory, so maybe I might switch this up and go for glowstone. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into my actual survivor world and go ahead and get started on this project. Okay, so I'm actually currently over by the skeleton farm, and I did not mean to go down. And I've got it currently turned on at this point. I completely forgot to turn it on for whatever reason. Because out of everything that I need to get, there are actually 2 things of which I forgot. The first of which is actually a repeater, which I've got this stuff back at home to grab. I don't know how I managed to forget to grab that. Although all things considered, I could probably just put the redstone dust on top of the dispensers and I should be fine. But the second thing that I didn't have, It's not necessarily something I forgot. Is I actually need a dispenser, and in order for me to craft a dispenser, I actually need a bow, and I figured why bother getting a bow by crafting it when I can get a bow for free from the skeleton farm. And plus, this at least will allow me the chance to get some more bones for other projects, which is part of the reason why I actually end up having a skeleton farm working as often as I do. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I just saw a bow drop, so I should be able to craft up a little bit of a dispenser without a problem. So let me go ahead and go into the chest and okay, there's actually more bows in here than I thought there were, and I've got some golden armor that can actually go ahead and smelt down, so I just only need one bow. If you guys are wondering why there actually aren't currently any arrows in there, it's because I actually set up underneath to be able to filter out arrows, because my bow has infinity on it. I don't actually need to be able to have arrows in my inventory apart from the one. So let me go ahead and craft up this dispenser. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I only need one dispenser. Actually, I should probably craft this by hand just so that I don't accidentally automatically craft this with my enchanted bow, because if I lost that, that would not be good, because this thing can one-shot pretty much anything. If I lost that, that would not be good. So there we go. So now I've got myself the materials I need apart from the repeater, but the repeater itself, either I need to craft it, or I happen to have one back at home, and I just realized while I was down there, I could have spent a little bit of time repairing my Silk Touch pickaxe. I don't know why I didn't think about that. Oh well. So yeah, I guess I can probably repair that maybe another time, but for right now, I'm more focused about the task on hand, so let me go ahead and get a repeater. I'm going to at least try to get started on the project, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so I've got the basics for where I'm going to put this. As you can tell, I've built a little bit of a platform already. This is whereabouts it's going to be, and I literally just realized the one thing that is going to control all this, a lever, is actually something I forgot to grab. But then again, levers are extremely easy to craft. I can easily go back home, grab a lever after I'm done and test all this. So the lever is actually going to end up going right here. And I know this may seem like a bit of an obscure place for me to go ahead and build this farm. Now, the reason I have for building it where I am is because you guys should know me by now. I enjoy fishing. In fact, something you may not know about me is actually sometimes I'll spend like maybe half an hour or so just simply fishing. I enjoy it so much, and I figured this is probably the best place I could possibly put this nether wart farm, because then if I'm going to be spending time fishing here, then that means that I'll be able to have this chunk loaded in order to at least attempt to grow the nether wart. Now, from the information that I read online, and you can say whether or not this source is credible, I found on the Minecraft forums that apparently nether wart will take, on average, maybe around, I want to say, if I remember correctly, maybe 3.5 to 4 minutes just simply to grow once that nether wart from freshly planted to fully grown. Just go ahead and take that with a grain of salt, because I don't know how accurate that actually is, but you know what? regardless of whether or not that's actually accurate, I feel like this is actually a good place to go ahead and build the nether wart farm, because as I already mentioned, I'm going to be here at the fishing hut quite often, so I think like this is probably the best place to at least have the nether wart farm loaded as far as chunks are concerned in order to grow them. That's exactly the point I'm trying to get across here. So I just need to go ahead and do that. And before I mark it off on that side, I should probably go ahead and set up the redstone. I'm pretty sure I put the repeater already back here, so that's good to know. So here's what I'm going to end up doing is the redstone dust is going to go right here. Now place an observer facing in this direction. Then I'm going to go ahead and place redstone dust along this. So let me just count this out. So 1, 2, and for those of you who don't know, redstone goes out 15 blocks before it stops powering things. So I just want to make sure this goes far enough. Although if this is exactly the same as what was in my testing world, it should come out to 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so I was down by 1. That's not really too far off, all things considered. So we've got this going for us. We've got ourselves one piece of cobblestone left over if it'll let me place it. There we go. And that should, in theory, be the nether wart farm all completely done, apart from actually having the lever, which then again, actually, before I plant all these nether warts, let me go home. I'm going to get myself a lever. I was about to say get myself or craft myself a lever, one of the two. I guess it doesn't really matter which of the two I do. I'm getting a lever either way. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and come back and actually test to make sure this is working exactly the way it's intended to, because that's probably the most important thing about pretty much any redstone design, is that even if it works in a creative world, you need to at least test to make sure that it works in survival worlds. So yeah, give me a moment. Okay, I'm on my way back. I have myself the lever, but also it's starting to get dark, and thankfully I at least have a bed in my fishing hut, so I'm going to go ahead and make use of that really quick. There we go. So now let's go ahead and put the lever down right where it's intended to go and test to make sure it's actually working as intended. And yep, it goes exactly as far as it did in my redstone testing world, which is good. So I'm going to go ahead and plant down all these nether warts. Now, this is something I'm going to be working on off camera. It's actually growing these nether warts. I'm not going to spend the remainder of this episode fishing, just simply because, well, that'd be spending like 5 or so minutes actually doing that, and I'm pretty sure some of you guys would get bored. So what I decided I wanted to do for the remainder 5 minutes of this episode, I actually want to do something that might be a little bit interesting to do. So I saw on a recent Mumbo Jumbo video, I don't remember how recent ago it was, maybe like a week or two ago, I don't know, but he showed off a little bit of a lighting technique that I thought was really cool, and I want to go ahead and make use of it. And depending on how much time is left over after I get this project done, I may or may not actually do a couple of casts of fishing. It all depends on what's left over. So if I go ahead and break that, and I probably am going to go ahead and grab my axe for this. At least do that. I'm going to go ahead and put down a redstone lamp like that. and a daylight sensor on top. Now, I'm pretty sure that should mean it's going to be on for right now. I'm fairly certain. But if I go ahead and click this once, I'm fairly certain that means that come nighttime, then that's going to light up the area, because the leaves are actually transparent objects, which means light should be able to go through them. Even if you can't obviously tell, light should be able to come through. And this is the thing that I saw on Mumbo Jumbo's video not too long ago, and I thought that was actually something that is relatively cool, all things considered, that you can hide lighting, although you guys just saw me put it there, so it's not exactly hidden. But for the remainder of the series, you guys aren't even going to know it's there. And hello, Creeper. I definitely see you over there. I do not want to have to deal with you, so let's go ahead and get rid of you. If I could aim, that'd be great. Alright, so go ahead and get... There we go, got him. Okay, good. So now the next place that I want to go ahead and put this in, I just realized I apparently have a full stack of torches in my inventory. I did not realize. Okay, let me go ahead and close this so I don't go down underneath. And I'm going to go ahead and build... Let's see, I need to go ahead and go right about here. Yeah, right about here. And build up like this. And if I go ahead and build up like this, there we go. Now, how many layers of leaves am I going to have to break? One. Guess I should have suspected as much. So if we go ahead and put the redstone lamp down there. Daylight sensor there. Set to night mode. Now, when it becomes nighttime, then it should illuminate. That's exactly the whole point of me doing what I did, because I think that would be a really cool aesthetic feature to have. And that's probably as far as I want to go as far as projects are concerned in this episode. So I think what I'm probably going to end up doing is maybe spend the last 2 to 3 minutes. I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but I don't really have much else planned for right now. But I'm going to spend the next 2 to 3 minutes fishing. And let me go ahead and put this stuff up in my inventory because I don't need it right now. I'm going to spend the next 2 to 3 minutes fishing. But before I head over there, one thing I definitely am going to go ahead and do is check on the mushroom farm. So we've got 6 and 9 so far. So if we go ahead and press this button, let's see if we get anything from our farm. And apparently by the looks of things, we haven't grown much of anything, which I can't say I'm surprised. You've been spending the past 2 episodes in the Nether and not really been able to have that chunk loaded. So I guess I can't say I'm surprised. That thing is... It's useful, but it's extremely inefficient, mainly because, well, mushrooms take quite a while to grow. I think we already know that. Then again, we also know the same thing about nether warts. They also take a long time to grow. So yeah, so what I'm going to do, as I already mentioned, I'm going to be fishing for the next couple of minutes, which I should get like maybe 3 or 4, maybe even 5 casts out of that, because I do have lure on my fishing rod. And you know what? Granted, it's not exactly the best looking thing. It's gonna turn out really useful. Alright. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to end up doing for at least the next couple of minutes. So let me go ahead and grab my fishing rod, and yeah, make sure, I don't know why I decided to make sure of that. I know exactly what's on it. So let's go ahead and do maybe, okay, 3 or 4 casts and see what all we can get out of this. And Okay, we gotta sell some leather boots. I'm probably gonna send those down to the skeleton farm, in order to destroy them. I know that probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but I have enough materials that if I need to make a new set of armor, I can make decent armor and not really crappy leather armor. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do one more cast, and then I'm gonna be done for the episode. Let's see what we can get. Anything interesting? The clownfish. Okay, so not really too exciting, but hey, what are you gonna expect out of like a 2 to 3 minute session of fishing? But yeah, this is actually where I'm gonna go ahead and end off the video. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you did, make sure that like button. One more than make sure that subscribe button for future content. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at AgentCP0 to stay updated. This has been Juice. Thank you guys for watching, and with that, I will see you guys later.